What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate. Welcome back to my channel and welcome. I'm going to be giving you today my preseason top 25. It's a perfect time to put this one out, in my opinion. You have the AP poll and the coaches poll that were just recently released. So I thought now, perfect time to release my personal top 25 poll. Again, this is mainly an opinion based. This is where I personally rank these teams. So how does it compare with the rankings that came out earlier this week? You guys are going to find out in a little bit. But first, thank you guys so much for the support on the channel lately. I'm no college football expert. I'm just a huge fan that try to provide the most accurate information possible. I know I'm going to get some things wrong, but if you like what you see from me and you want to hear my thoughts on what goes on during this college football season, please hit that subscribe button down below. You can also leave a like, share the videos as well. Helps push the content out to other people who might normally not be able to see it. And you can also leave a comment down below telling me your thoughts on the teams that we're going to see in 2021. Maybe give me your personal top 25. Again, be kind to everyone down. That's all I ask. So without further ado, let's go ahead. I'm going to give you my personal top 25. Let's go. All right. So on the screen now over here, you're going to see my personal rankings. And then right below my face cam, hi, I'm up here. Right below my face cam, you're going to see the rankings for the AP poll and the USA Today coaches poll. But we're going to talk about the thing that's even below that. So on this slide only, I'm going to talk about my first 5 out. So these are the 5 teams that were the closest, in my opinion, to getting into the top 25, but ultimately just missed the mark. Those being Utah, Nevada, UCF Liberty, and Oklahoma State. You could also throw a team like TCU out there, maybe Boston College, Michigan, Kentucky, NC State. You can make a case for a lot of teams to make the top 25, but in my opinion, but again, the top 25 teams that you're going to see here are my opinion, my personal top 25. So Arizona State comes in at number 25, rated as such by the AP poll, but not rated by the coaches poll. Arizona State is returning Jaden Daniels, a fantastic quarterback. Absolutely an exceptional player. I love Jaden Daniels. He has some very good players around him, and the defense should be pretty solid for Arizona State as well. It wouldn't surprise me to see Arizona State towards the top of the Pac-12 standings and maybe even win the Pac-12 South and get into the Pac-12 championship game. So watch out for the Sun Devils in 2021. Also watch out for the Ole Miss Rebels. They come in at number 24, not rated by AP, but rated 25th by the coaches poll. So Ole Miss is a team that we know they're going to have a high octane offense coming in to this season. They're going to have one of the best offenses in the nation with Matt Corral, Jerrion Ealy, Dontario Drummond. But the defense is the question mark for Ole Miss. How does their defense play in 2021? That'll be the case, right? Their offense is going to win them a lot of games, but can their defense save the games that are closer? We'll have to find out come this season. Again, they open up play on Labor Day, so we'll watch that one on Monday the 6th. Texas is here at number 23, 21st in the AP poll, and 19th by the coaches poll. So I have them lower than both of the polls, but overall for me, Texas is a team that, well, we'll see. So they have a new quarterback coming in and so they're going to have a new starting quarterback to replace Sam Ehlinger, and they have a new head coach coming in Steve Sarkisian, and he hasn't really proven himself to be a great head coach anywhere else. I know he coached at USC, coached at Washington, I do believe, but never really proved himself. At Texas, I think he's going to have the opportunity to do that. He's going to have the chance to prove a lot of the people wrong. But with Texas losing as much as they are, having to replace as much as they are, Texas is going to be a fairly young team. So we'll see. We'll see how Texas does in 2021. But in my opinion, it's a big, sorry, that was backwards. It's a big question mark right now for Texas. Coastal Carolina comes in at 22. I can't find a lot of bad things to say about this team. Now, they are losing CJ Maribel, so running back might be a tad bit of an issue, but they have great pass catchers and Grayson McCall, a very good quarterback, and defensively, they're returning a lot as well. And they have one of the easier schedules in the nation. That helps, right? It wouldn't surprise me at all to see Coastal Carolina run the table, ranked 22nd by the AP poll, right where I have them, and 24th by the coaches poll. Coastal Carolina should be very good, should be on their way to a Sun Belt championship game in 2021 if everything holds true. And Washington is at number 21, rated as such by the coaches poll, but 20th, a spot higher in the AP poll. The talent is there for Washington. They're getting the number one passer, the number one quarterback, don't know why I said that, number one quarterback out of this recruiting class. Very, very good player for the Washington Huskies. But of course, their starter is coming back, so he will end up taking control there. There's some great players on defense, some good players on the offensive side as well. Washington showed a lot last year, and they absolutely can win the Pac-12 North. So I have Washington at number 21. All right, let's move on here. 20 through 16. I have Penn State at 20th, a team that was rated as such by the coaches poll and one spot ahead in the AP poll, 19th. Penn State should rebound from where they were last year. There's no question about it. Penn State is a team that I really like coming into this year. I think they're going to rebound in a big way. They have lots of young offensive talent with an experienced quarterback coming back in Sean Clifford. Now, is he one of the best in the business? I wouldn't say so, but it's still a very solid quarterback in Sean Clifford. Defensively, you're losing quite a bit of talent, but overall, I think Penn State is going to be just fine in 2021. Got some interesting games. Will they be able to get it done? We'll have to wait and see. Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns at number 19. 23rd is how they were ranked in both of those preseason polls, that being the AP and the coaches poll. But I think Louisiana is a much better team than that. The top team in the nation in returning production, even with the losses to Elijah Mitchell, Trey Regis, defensive lineman Joe Dillon. The first two were running backs. But overall, Louisiana, very, very good team. I mean, like I just said, top team in returning production, even with those losses that I just mentioned. They have lots of all Sun Belt and potentially maybe could be All-American players at the wide receiver position if they can really show out for Levi Lewis, who is their quarterback. Lots of good defensive players as well. Louisiana is a team that you got to fear. Now, they have some interesting games. They play Texas. They play Liberty. Those two games are going to tell us a lot. One is their first game and one is one of their last. So again, we will see what happens with Louisiana in 2021. This should be a very good team, though. So should LSU. They should rebound from where they were last year. Should be a very, very much improved team. They were a young team last year. They're going to be more experienced this year. But Max Johnson was named the starter. Why? Well, because Miles Brennan broke himself. Broke his arm. Is going to be out for a little bit of time, but not as serious as it first looked. So probably going to end up missing 3 games. That much is known. Will he come back on September 25th? Will he come back against Auburn on October 12th? The jury's still out on that. There is no real timetable for return for Miles Brennan, although he is going to miss the first 3 games. Rated 16th and 13th among the respective polls. Again, I don't think LSU is going to do as good as a lot of people think they're going to do this year. However, I do think LSU is going to rebound this year. Still a lot of good players. They, for me, are at number 18. Number 17 is Iowa. So another team out of the Big Ten, 18th in both of the polls that came out earlier this week. And in my opinion, Iowa is a team that, again, should be really, really good in 2021. This Iowa team is returning Tyler Goodson, returning Spencer Petras, returning lots of players at the wide receiver position, returning lots of players on the defense as well. However, they're losing a lot on the lines. The offensive and defensive lines are going to be some places of concern for Iowa, and it's going to be where they're going to have to fill in some spots. But Iowa, if you remember, started out 0-2 last year, ended up winning their last 6. Well, they get a tough 2-game stretch again. That's Indiana and Iowa State. I could definitely see them winning one of the two, but I have them losing both of them. So Iowa, going to be an interesting season this year for sure. They're at number 17. Number 16 is USC. Keaton Slovis, one of the best in the business. They have some really good running backs with Malapai and now Keontae Ingram, a transfer over from Texas. Drake London at wide receiver as well. But Brew McCoy, a player that was supposed to be a really good wide receiver for USC, has been arrested and released from the team. So following his arrest, I believe it was like DUI, some sort of charge like that, like drug charges, USC said, bye, we don't want you here anymore. So now going to have to fill in the spot for Brew McCoy. We'll see how that goes. But the defense is going to be the story of the season, in my opinion. Now, they still have Drake Jackson, really, really good player. How does the rest of the defense play? And can their offensive line improve as well? Yes, the offensive line is a concern, but to me, the defense is the story of the season for USC. We'll have to see how they do in 2021. All right, moving into the top 15. Now I have Florida at number 15, rated 13th by the AP poll and 11th by the coaches poll. And you know what? I think this Florida team is going to be better off than a lot of people think. And a lot of other polls, not the AP and coaches poll, I've seen them ranked as low as 20th, which I thought, okay, I can see why. They're losing a lot of offensive players, being Trask, Tony, Pitts, et cetera, et cetera. And on the defensive side, not really losing too much, in my opinion. You still have Brenton Cox, Ventrell Miller, Khair Elam, some other really good players on the defensive side as well. I think Florida's going to be better off than a lot of people think. They're at number 15th. 14th is Indiana, and they were rated 17th by both of the polls. I think Indiana is still being underrated. I think Indiana is a team that you have to watch out for this year. If Penix is healthy coming off the ACL, which he says he is, he feels really good. They have a running back to replace Stevie Scott. His name is Stephen Carr, coming over from USC. Of course, again, returning Freifogler, returning Hendershot, returning Miles Marshall, along with a lot of defensive players coming back as well. Tywan Mullen, Micah McFadden, and they are bringing in Ryder Anderson, a defensive lineman from Ole Miss. So Indiana here at number 14 can absolutely be a threat to Ohio State in the Big Ten. Miami is at number 13. De'Aaron King also says he feels 100%. He should be ready to go for the season opener at Alabama. Again, game being played in Atlanta. Now, not a lot of people are giving them a shot in that game. In fact, I think the spread is somewhere around the 18, 17 point mark. It's something crazy like that. Usually when you see the games or the lines for Alabama games, you think, wow, really? Well, it's also because Alabama is really, really good. But I think Miami's going to keep it closer than that. I really do think Miami can keep that game close with their offense. Their defense might have some trouble against that Alabama offense. But overall, I do think Miami's going to keep that game closer on a team that's not losing a whole lot on the offensive side. Really losing Brevin Jordan on the tight end, and that's about it. So Miami should be really good in 2021. Definitely can contend for a spot in the ACC championship game. We'll see how Miami does. They're at number 13. Number 12 I have is the Wisconsin Badgers. If they are going to want to be a true contender into the playoff sense, Graham Mertz has to get better. Now, Graham Mertz looked like a wagon, looked like a really good player in the first game that he played last season. However, that didn't last long. He ended up tailing off as the season went along. So it starts with improved play from quarterback Graham Mertz at Wisconsin, finding out who that running back is going to be to replace guys you've lost in previous years, including this offseason as well. Wide receivers could step up, but the defense should be really good. It starts with improved play from Graham Mertz, and the offense getting a little bit better in Wisconsin really can be a top 10 team and a threat to Ohio State once they meet, or if they meet in the Big Ten championship game. Notre Dame is at 11. Now, they were rated in the top 10 by both the AP and the USA Today coaches poll. And I think Notre Dame is close to being a top 10 team. Of course, Jack Cohn was named that starter, so he will be playing the majority of the quarterback position for Notre Dame. And Kyron Williams is coming back. They also have Kyle Hamilton coming back at the safety position. Of course, Kyron Williams is the running back. There are some other places that Notre Dame has to fill in, though. But again, it's Notre Dame. They will fill in those holes and be able to be a really solid team. They have a tough stretch of games in the middle of their season, but Notre Dame should still be really good, in my opinion, at number 11. All right, moving into the top 10 here. At number 10, I have the Oregon Ducks. So Oregon, a team that has impressed me this offseason, really has impressed me in the spring, summer, and fall camps. Oregon is a team that I think can be a real threat to anyone on their schedule. I know they have to play Ohio State in Columbus, and that's not going to be an easy game for them to win. But it wouldn't surprise me to see Oregon win the Pac-12 yet again. They have a lot of good talent. Anthony Brown, in my opinion, will be that starting quarterback with the transfer of Tyler Shuck. And you also have CJ Verdell coming back, Travis Dye. Lots of good players at the wide receiver position, including good players on the defensive position. Look, Kayvon Thibodeau, Noah Sewell, lots of good safeties, cornerbacks as well. Oregon is loaded. A top 10 team in my mind. They are at number 10. Now, Texas A&M is at number 9, and they were rated 6 by both polls. And I think that's a little bit of an overestimate. I don't think Texas A&M is going to be quite where they were last year. However, they're going to still be a very, very good team in Texas A&M. Now, the question for Texas A&M for me is, how do they play without Kellen Mond? Now, they're losing some pieces around the team, but overall, there's nothing major leaving. There's nothing like super huge leaving besides Kellen Mond. You still got Spiller, you still got Weidermeyer, you still got Leal. Lots of good players at the wide receiver position as well. Just who starts at quarterback? Is it Haynes King or is it Zach Calzada? My bet would be to go with Haynes King, but you never know with these kinds of things. So Texas A&M for me at number 9 should still be a really good team under Jimbo Fisher. 8th is North Carolina, and this is the team that I think is going to have the Heisman winner at the end of the year, and Sam Howell. I know a lot of people are predicting Spencer Rattler. I'm going off the board slightly and say Sam Howell. It's not completely off the board, still a very, very good player and the leader of this offense. And I think as long as Sam Howell is there, as long as Mac Brown is that head coach, North Carolina is going to be fine. I think North Carolina is a very, very good team, or is going to be a very good team in 2021. Yes, they're losing a lot of pieces around the team. Michael Carter Williams. You also got Daz Newsome, a lot of other players gone as well. But overall, I think North Carolina is going to be just fine. They're at number 8. Cincinnati is at number 7. And if you don't have Cincinnati in your top 10, I really can't help you. This team has won double-digit games in back-to-back seasons under Luke Fickell. Finally won an American Athletic Championship game. And now for Cincinnati, this is the season that they get to prove everybody wrong. They have games to prove it as well. On the road against Notre Dame, they can win that one. On the road against Indiana, I think they also can win that one. Every single game on Cincinnati's schedule is going to be winnable. And I think they have a great shot to get into the college football playoff if they can take care of business and a lot of other things can go their way. Again, it's not likely that they make the playoff. They need a lot to go right, but Cincinnati can absolutely do it. They have the talent. They're at number 7. And rounding out before the top 5 here is Iowa State at number 6. And I really like this team. I think Iowa State's going to be one of the better teams in the nation this year. Definitely a top 10 team. I think it's going to be a top 10 team at the end of the year. This team under Matt Campbell has grown impressively. Brock Purdy coming back along with the nation's leading rusher in Breece Hall. And then you also have the best group of tight ends in the nation, along with an improving group of wide receivers as well. And defensively, Will McDonald, Mike Rose, lots of other players. Iowa State is loaded. That's going to be a team that you have to watch out for in 2021. That's a very, very good team. They're going to take no game lightly. Iowa State at number 6. Of course, you guys should know who's in the top 5, though, right? I mean, yeah, there's really no surprise. It has to be these 5 teams. It has to be these 5 teams. These are the best 5 teams in the nation, without a doubt. They have separated themselves from the rest. Now, let me go in order and tell you why. So Ohio State's at 5. Then I have Georgia at 4, Clemson at 3, Oklahoma at 2, and Alabama right there at the top at number 1. So let me go and explain why. I have Ohio State at 5. As you guys know, I am an Ohio State fan. I do love my Buckeyes. I love my Buckeyes so much. But I'm going to be more critical about them. The AP poll and the coaches poll seem to have them at 4th. I put Georgia ahead of them. I like the transfers that Georgia has picked up this year. I think I've underrated JT Daniels a lot more than I should have this offseason as I've watched some more tape. As we get closer to the season, JT Daniels is going to be a really good quarterback this year. And Georgia, even without George Pickens, has the best group of wide receivers they've probably ever had. And with Ohio State, there are still a couple of concerns. Now, CJ Stroud has emerged and will probably be that starter. How well does he play? I think he's going to be fine. How well does the defense play? How does the defense improve? There are a lot of questions still at Ohio State, but they have to be a top 5 team in the nation. They just have the offensive talent to do so. They're going to be one of, if probably not the best offense in the nation. Again, that's up for debate. Again, I've already talked about Georgia at 4. I like the transfers they've picked up. Offensively, defensively, this is going to be a very good team. There's no doubt about it. They can absolutely give Alabama a run for their money in the SEC this year. Clemson, I have at number 3. In my opinion, this is the best defensive line in the nation. This is probably the best defense in the nation as well. And when you look at the offense, it's going to be young, but there are a lot of good pieces at Clemson. There's no doubt in my mind they're a top 5 team. They're at number 3. Oklahoma's at number 2. And you have to get really nitpicky to find a flaw with Oklahoma. Spencer Rattler coming back. You have Marcus Major, but Kennedy Brooks coming back should be that starting running back. Marvin Mims, lots of other pass catchers. Defensively, Nick Bonito, Perrion Winfrey, Isaiah Thomas. You list off any name you want. They're going to be an impact player for Oklahoma. This is a really good team, but of course you have to put Alabama at number one. Reigning national champion, Nick Saban, the best coach to ever do it. Alabama is an incredibly deep and talented team. Bryce Young has looked incredible this offseason, as well as the rest of the team. There's no doubt in my mind that Alabama is at number one, but Oklahoma is closing that gap. Again, these are the top 5 teams. Put them in any order you want. I won't argue with you too much, but again, this is just my order for right now. We're going to see things change come week 1. Lots of top 25 matchups. Clemson, Georgia, that should be a fun one to watch. You got Texas, Louisiana, but week 0 is up first. So again, guys, that is going to do it for me for my top 25. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, comment, share, do anything you can to help support the channel. It really does mean a lot. And hey, remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. I'll see all you guys in the next one. Goodbye.